Hey everyone, today we're going to start multiplying polynomials. So far in this unit, we've only added, subtracted, and simplified, but you need to remember to do all three in order to do multiplying because it involves all three. So it does get a little involved. I have all the steps here. So how to multiply two binomials, and this strategy, we call it double distribution, and you'll see why once we go through all the steps. So for the steps, I do have an example written out because it's a lot easier to see when you have numbers in front of you. So I have the example 2x minus 7 times 3x plus 2. I want to multiply those. So for step 1, it says write the first term of the first binomial next to the entire second polynomial. So if you take a look, so first term of my first binomial, I wrote it next to the entire second binomial. So here's my second binomial. The entire thing is there. Okay, cool. First step. Second step, write the second term of the first binomial next to the entire second polynomial. So back to my example here. My second term is at -7. So I take that -7 and I write it next to the entire second binomial. Okay, step 3, put the expressions from step 1 and step 2 together into one expression. So this first part is here. This second part is right here. So all I did was take them and write them next to each other. So this is why last week we learned about simplifying a polynomial, because take a look at what we have now. It's exactly what we did last week. So once we get to this point, you know, anytime you see parentheses, you want to distribute the number outside of the parentheses by multiplying. So we got our 2x times 3x, that's our 6x squared. 2x times 2, that's our 4x. -7 times 3x, that's our -21. -7 times 2, that's our -14. So everything has been multiplied out there. And last step, you want to simplify by combining like terms. So if you take a look, those two in the middle both have x's. So 4 minus 21 is my -17 that's written there in the middle. And it seems like a lot when it's all written out like this, but once you do a few examples, it starts to get pretty fast. So let's look at our first example that we have. So I have the binomial 4b plus 3, and I want to multiply it to the binomial b plus 2. So if I follow those steps from before, we're going to start by getting the first term of the first binomial and writing it next to the entire second binomial. So we'll have 4b, b plus 2. Okay, step 2 says that we get the second term and we write it next to the entire second binomial. So we'll have the plus 3, b plus 2. So I kind of went ahead and wrote them next to each other already. That was step 3. So now step 4 says that I want to simplify what I have here. So we're going to start at the left. 4b times b gives me 4b to the second power. Okay, then the next one, I have 4b times 2, and that gives me 8b. Okay, so I'm done with that part. Now let's do the part that's in blue. We're going to get this positive 3 and multiply it in. 3 times b is just 3b, so plus 3b. And then for the next one, I have 3 times 2, and that gives me positive 6. So now I have everything all multiplied out. Last thing to do is to combine our like terms. And if you take a look here, the two in the middle, 8b and 3b, those are like terms because they both have b. So this first one, 4b squared, is going to stay the same. 8 plus 3 gives me 11, so it'll be plus 11b, and then last, plus 6. Okay, let's keep practicing. Let's look at our next example. Okay, so now I have 3a plus 5 times 3a minus 1. So we're going to start with our first term, 3a, and we're going to put the entire second polynomial. So the entire second polynomial is at 3a minus 1. Now we're going to get our second term, that plus 5, and write the entire second binomial, 3a minus 1. Okay, now it's time to do some distribution. So first we distribute 3a times 3a. So 3 times 3 I know gives me 9, so I'll have 9. And then a times a is a to the second power. Okay, now I have 3a times negative 1. Well, 3 times negative 1 is just negative 3, but you need to keep that a with your term. Now let's do the second set of parentheses. 5 times 3a would give me positive 15a. And then next, positive 5 times negative 1 gives me negative 5. So the last thing that we need to do is simplify, put this in standard form, and combine like terms all at once. So 9a squared, that's the only term that has a to the second power. But then the two terms in the middle both have a, so we can combine those. Negative 3 plus 15 gives me positive 12a. And then last, I have that minus 5 at the end. Okay, let's take a look at another example. So this one is x minus 5 times 3x plus 2. So starting with our first term, that x, and we're going to write the entire second binomial, 3x plus 2. Okay, then we do the second term, so this time it's a negative 5, and then the entire second binomial. Okay, now it's time to distribute. So we have x times 3x. So remember that this x on the outside has an invisible 1 in front of it. So I know 1 times 3 is still 3. But x times x gives me x to the second power. So that term is going to be 3x to the second power. Okay, next, let's do the next term. 1x times 2, that would give me 2x. Now for the second set of parentheses. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. And then negative 5 times 2 gives me negative 10. So now all that's left to do is to simplify by combining like terms. The first term is the only term that has 3x to the second power. The 2 in the middle both have x's, so we can put that together. 2 minus 15 is negative 13x. And then the last term is our only constant. So here is our final answer. 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. Okay, last but not least, I have 2m minus 3 times 4m minus 5. So let's start with our first term, 2m. Then the entire second binomial, 4m minus 5. Okay, and then now let's do our second term, negative 3. An entire second binomial, 4m minus 5. Now it's time for our distribution. So 2m times 4m. So start with the coefficients. I know that 2 times 4 is 8. And then do the variables. M times m is m to the second power. Okay, now let's multiply to the second term in there. So 2m times negative 5 would give me negative 10m. Now it's time to distribute to that second set of parentheses. So I have negative 3 times 4m, which gives me negative 12m. And then I have negative 3 times negative 5. Be careful there. Negative times a negative gives me positive 15. Last step is to simplify and combine like terms. So first term is the only one that has m squared. The 2 in the middle both have m, so we're going to combine that. That's negative 22m. And then last is our only constant, so plus 15. Okay guys, so that's 4 examples on how to multiply a binomial by another binomial. So you can tell right away why it's called double distribution, because you do have to distribute twice. Okay guys, and we will continue multiplying polynomials tomorrow. If you have any questions over any of this, just please let me know.